awareness to a very special cause. So please pay attention. Mr. Greenberg. You can see now the cause that our special guests are promoting. To bring it more local, I guess, remember last May we went through a tragedy with the loss of Jeremy Tucker. And if there's a good thing that came out of that, we may have lost Jeremy, but several other people had a new lease in life because Jeremy and his people closest to him decided that they would donate his organs, and several people have a new lease on life as a result of that. Soon after that, some of our students also promoted the bracelet campaign, you remember, and another donation was also made to organ donation. So it's kind of become a cause that SOS has championed in the last little while. Around about that time, we were asked if we would be involved in Step by Step's latest venture. We're pleased to have with us today a few people. This poster has been in the office at SOS since that time last year. It's called Christopher's Wish. Kristopher Knowles at that time was 13 or 14 years old, waiting for a liver transplant, and he walked a long, long way with our other special guest. Kristopher's with us today. You'll hear from him shortly. He's still waiting for a liver transplant. Now he's 17, same age as most of you. We also have with us George Marcello. George, we just saw pictures of him with the Pope, with Sean Chrétien, and even Don Cherry. What has George been up to? Just listen carefully. In 1997, George walked from Toronto to Ottawa, promoting the cause. In 1999, he walked around the province, Ontario, and inspired then Premier Harris to allocate $121 million towards this issue. In 2000, he walked 12,000 kilometers in a 769-day walk across Canada and inspired Canadian government to allocate $20 million. Later on, he inspired an audience with Pope John Paul, as you saw. In 2004, under Step by Step, his organization, he accompanied 14-year-old Kristopher Knowles, who's with us, who needed a liver transplant across a 200-city tour across Canada. This was called Kristopher's Wish. In 2005, under Step by Step, George organized a 5-country European tour. Since these countries led the world in organ and tissue donations, George met and gathered important information from health officials across Europe. During the end of this tour in France, George was stricken with thrombosis and needed another liver transplant. I neglected to mention that he did all the first several tours after having a liver transplant. When he got to France, he took sick again and needed a second liver. He's got that. In midsummer 2005, George received his second liver transplant in Toronto on his 50th birthday. 15 days later, he held a press conference in Queen's Park and urged the provincial and Canadian governments to make organ and tissue donations a priority. Since that time, he's had a dozen press conferences regarding the opt-out system. Just keeps going for the cause. In 2006, he once again walked from Toronto to Ottawa for a mother of two who needed a liver transplant. In total, George completed 15,000 kilometers. The tour we're part of, on October 1st, George set foot from St. John's, Newfoundland. He was in Sydney on Friday, here today. They continue on, and they're going to go across the country and then up north, and ends in Iqaluit in June of 2008, long way down the road. Once again, raise funds and bring awareness to organ donation. Colton Carroll is with us. Colton, you'll know, is foster brother of Jeremy Tucker, and Colton has been selected as Torch Champion, and in just a few minutes' time, he's going to be with Kristopher on this leg of the walk from here to the causeway, and we're going to send him off. As Torch Champion, Colton will be one of over 100 students right across the country who will have this honor. It's my great pleasure to introduce you to George Marcello.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. First of all, good morning, everyone. I really want to thank your principal, Mr. Sean McDonald, for making this day possible. And I also want to congratulate the Port Hawkesbury Torch Champion, Colton Carroll, who will soon begin making his way. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank the Sky Hotel for helping us out with accommodations while we're here in Port Hawkesbury, as well as Pizza Delight, who's been feeding us in Port Hawkesbury. And especially, I want to take this moment to dedicate today in tribute to Jeremy Tucker, because in the end, that's what it's all about. That's why we're doing all these things, is to reach people so that people can hopefully do the same thing that the Tucker family can do. And I can tell you, as a grateful liver transplant recipient, there's a lot more happier families around right now because of that, and I just can't express in words how much happier they are because that happened. And that's what it becomes all about. I just want to give you a little brief history about the torch that's going to be carried. It's presently outside, so people can get a chance to see it. During my walk across Canada, it was carried throughout the country, and there was a lot of people that carried the torch, including people that were on the waiting list that came out to carry it in the hopes that somehow more people would be reached and more people would sign their organ donor cards and discuss the wish with their family. And there's just dozens and dozens and dozens of stories attached to this torch. And then, of course, we got the call from Vatican City, where we brought it to Vatican City, and His Holiness Pope John Paul II at Vatican City blessed the torch and called organ and tissue donation a genuine act of love. And he went on to state that everybody in the world should consider becoming an organ donor, despite what your religion is. And if anybody followed His Holiness Pope John Paul II, most of the other religious leaders always got along with the Pope, so he was able to express these views. So he had a pretty big effect in saying something like that. And then afterwards, during my stop in Sarnia, I met young Kristopher, who was 10 years old at the time, and he carried the torch in Sarnia. And I didn't know it at the time because he didn't show it on his face or the way he was carrying the torch. I didn't know he was on the waiting list, but it was at the end of the walk that he lifted up his shirt and showed me all the scars on his stomach and told me he's been waiting for liver his entire life. And he did this with a big smile on his face. And I just thought I met the most incredible kid ever. And for the next 2 years, he wouldn't stop bothering me, emailing me, phoning me. He says, I want to carry that torch across Canada. I want to carry that torch across Canada. Well, if anybody knows Kristopher, he gets his way with things. Somehow he convinced the school, he convinced his medical doctors, he convinced everybody in the community of Sarnia to let him do this. So that's how we did Kristopher's wish. He got his way. And I think during that entire year was where we really established our connection with the students. And I felt that at that time that that's who should be championing this issue is the students. I think the students are the people that can help bring this to the forefront. Students and schools right across the country champion this issue, can bring it to the forefront, because for too many years it hasn't been to the forefront. And there's over 4,000 Canadians that are waiting right now. Here's the thing, we can save all of them. Every single person on that waiting list could be saved. The cure is within our country, it's within our people. All we have to do is reach everybody. And I think there's no better way of reaching everybody than through the students. When they carry that torch and they get behind this campaign, if we can do that through 150 cities across Canada collectively, I think we can make a real impact on the whole country. So as we've been moving this torch from St. John's, where we started October the 1st, we've been getting a lot of passion and enthusiasm from students and schools and the community itself getting behind this. So that's what we're hoping to do in the end result, is to get everybody in this country inspired to become an organ donor and to have that conversation with their family. And if we can do that, then guess what? Most of those people that are on that waiting list can get their lives saved. And at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. So one of our first torch champions, student torch champion, that did carry the torch across Canada in 2004 is Kristopher Knowles, and I'm very proud to announce him as the next speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George. Good morning. Today we are dedicating this day, day 13 of our campaign, to Jeremy Tucker. My name is Kristopher Knowles. About 3 years ago, I carried the torch of life across Canada and up north of Nunavut, Canada. The torch that I carried represents help saving lives. I believe that because it helped save my life. I've been waiting for a liver transplant my whole life, and I'm currently on hold for a liver transplant. Today I am honored to pass the torch of life to your representative in your community, Colton Carroll. Colton Carroll, carry the torch proudly, and you could also help save lives with Step by Step. Please don't take your organs to heaven. Heaven knows we need them here. Thank you for all your support.
Just a message from our mayor, Billy Joe McLean, who had another commitment today. Dear Mr. Marcello, congratulations on the launch of SOS4000. Thank you for your kind invitation to address the press conference you have scheduled for Sarah. Unfortunately, another commitment does not permit me to attend. I'm a strong supporter of organ and tissue donations, as I know so many people who have benefited from this life-saving gift. I would encourage everyone present at your press conference to give very serious consideration to signing an organ tissue donation card. I can almost guarantee you that at some time in your life cycle you will have someone who is near and dear to you whose life will be extended because someone somewhere made the decision to make a donation of life. A special note of congratulations is extended to Colton Carroll, who has been selected as Torch Champion representing our community. You have been handed an honor that you will carry with you for the balance of your life. Cherish it because it's yours. I urge each and every one of you to jump on board and support this initiative because it may just turn out that the life you are saving is that of the person next to you. Signed, His Worship Mayor Billy Joe McLean. Another message, this one's from the Prime Minister of Canada. I'm pleased to extend my warmest greetings to everyone involved with Step by Step Organ Transplant Association as you mark its 10th anniversary, as well as the launch of its SOS4000 campaign. Every year, thousands of Canadians get placed on organ and tissue donation waiting lists. They wait and hope for a gift of life, and yet our country continues to have one of the lowest organ donation rates in the world. 10 years ago, a liver transplant survivor decided to dedicate himself to the promotion of organ and tissue donation in Canada. George Marcello has worked tirelessly in support of this very personal cause by walking across our country and parts of Europe and by taking his message to provincial and federal governments. Through his organization, Step by Step Organ Transplant Association, he has worked to increase awareness about organ and tissue donation, and I would like to commend him for his outstanding efforts. The SOS4000 campaign continues this important effort with students taking part in a Torch of Life relay across Canada. Special thanks go to all the students participating in this event as Torch Champions. Your commitment to this cause will have a direct impact on individuals and families coping with serious illnesses and waiting for transplants. On behalf of the Government of Canada, please accept my best wishes for a memorable campaign and for every success in years to come. Signed, Stephen Harper. Right after Stephen Harper, we'll have Student Council President, Mr. Sean McDougall, come forward.
I would just like to take this time now to thank these two gentlemen for coming here today and raising awareness of this very serious problem that we do have in Canada. Myself, I'm going to be an organ donor. I already got that straight with my folks, and they're already organ donors. And we just really need everybody, because we don't need them once we're in the ground, because well, I bury people and I know they don't use them. So just when you're making that decision, make the right one and do donate. And we're going to donate $150 from all the students of SARC and the Student Council towards the association. Thank you.
Also, George, on behalf of the staff of SARC, we'd like to extend this token of financial towards your cause. We're now going to get right down to what we're here for, to see the torch lit and to give Colton a send-off. And in order to make this work, I'm going to ask that everybody stay where you are until our dignitary party goes to the front of the building. Once everybody's out, we're going to go, and in the lobby of the building, we can watch as the torch is lit and the walk will continue. So please stay behind until our dignitaries get to the front of the building and then follow. After that, sorry, back to class.
Okay, do you have a few words to say, Colton, as you're receiving this Torch of Life?
It's an honor to get it, to be a part of the walk.
Thank you. And who are we tributing the walk to?
Jeremy Tucker's memory.
Perfect. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, let me just take a couple of pictures of you two guys. words from you as we're finishing the torch run here. How do you feel?
Feel good, I'm glad I did it.
Yeah? It just started to rain now, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. You did a great job, and Kristopher here, you guys had good talking and everything?
Oh yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, we're gonna head back towards the school now again. Okay, I'll get one picture with the policeman.
Yeah.
And then we'll be it. Words from you as we're finishing the torch run here. How do you feel?
Feel good, I'm glad I did it.
Yeah? It just started to rain now, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. You did a great job, and Kristopher here, you guys had good talking and everything?
Oh yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, we're gonna head back towards the school now again. Okay, I'll get one picture with the policeman.
Yeah.
And then we'll be it.
Okay, so speak your mind. You'll want to know what you have to think. Yeah,
Basically, what we want to do right now is, after, listening to everything in the auditorium this morning, and maybe some of you were thinking about this beforehand and during the time that Jeremy, there might be some questions that you might have about this issue. I could just suggest a few questions. First of all, why is it here in Canada that Canada has one of the lowest organ donation rates in the entire world? What can we do to fix it? What are the options? And any other questions you might have, why, if you don't particularly believe in organ donations or you have some fears about it, we're encouraging students to speak up about that as well, because that's going to be very important to hear if there's anybody that doesn't feel strongly in support of this issue. We need to hear that, because everybody needs to be heard on this issue. So when we start these things, we usually say that there's always one person in the classroom that usually goes with the first question. I know you got one in this classroom. Usually when they say, are there any questions, and then there's one student that raises their hand. Or did you want to think about, there might be potential. Is there any question? Can I just pick somebody randomly then? If nobody's going to volunteer? Okay, then.
Why is the rate so much lower in Canada?
Okay, good question. Good first question. And most people are baffled by this, why there is such a low rate, because Canadians excel first in almost everything. Because we know Canadians are very compassionate people, and so why are we the lowest rate in this issue? So one of the things that I think is very prevalent is that there isn't enough attention and awareness to Canadians about this issue, and probably most Canadians already have some perceived concepts about it. They might think that their religion is opposed to it. It's a yucky subject. And so all these different factors could probably contribute to that. And then there's other things. It could be in our system. Maybe most people here want to be organ donors, and most people that we talk to across the country want to be organ donors. But then sometimes the problem lies when an organ is available, the family has to be approached because they have to consent to it. And at the time that they're approached, they're pretty much in a lot of shock. You know, after hearing that they lost their loved one, they're in too much shock to say anything at that time. So that could be a problem as well. So it's all these different things that could be a problem, and it could be the issue. So we're trying to see how can we fix this. You know, like what are the ways to fix this? So that's a good question. And I want to, since you brought up that question, I want to let you know what other countries are doing because they address these issues. You know, they tackle it. There's 23 countries, most of them are in Europe. They developed a system called the opt-out system, which means that what they did, they seen how serious this issue was and how many organs were going to be placed in their countries. And these are countries like European countries like Spain, Italy. Please disregard my phone. It's going on. I don't know why it's doing what it's doing, but it's doing it. And I didn't pick this song, by the way. Christopher here picked this song. Mine would have been more of a 60s song. But anyways, getting back to, you know, these countries already wanted to make this issue a priority. So what they did was they passed a law in their country where everybody was already registered as an organ donor, and the people that didn't want to be on that list opted out. So there was, once they passed that law, the rate of donations suddenly increased in their countries. As a matter of fact, Spain did it first. Last year recorded a 96% success rate in receiving organs for the people that were on their waiting list. So it's working in those countries, and that idea was introduced to Canada, and that should be an idea that should be discussed among Canadians, because sometimes it becomes an administrative problem. You know, it's not a matter of that we don't want to be organ donors, it's a matter of if we are, how can we be sure that it's going to happen, you know? So then that becomes an administrative problem. So what they've done in those countries was they kind of solved that. So, you know, everybody did become an organ donor that wanted to become an organ donor, and organs, you know, were transplanted. So that's something that you can think about, and we as a country can think about, or we as a province, because the province has the power to create a law like that. So if we're really serious about this issue, I mean, you know, we're looking at our country and there's over 4,000 Canadians, and for years and years and years and years and years now, it hasn't gotten any better. People are still dying every other day. If there was a chance that maybe a system like this can solve it, should we give it some consideration? So that could be something that schools can talk about. You know, we can find out from school kids how they would feel about a system like that, and it's called opt-out. So what we're also trying to do is plant seeds in the school so that these discussions can develop, and that, you know, there could be maybe a survey done in your school. If you went around school, how many students would support a system like that? So if there was a few students that wanted to take on that project, that's another thing that we would encourage to see how that would work out. And after doing a lot of research about that system, and then having it presented, and then see how your school feels about it, and then possibly present it to your local MLA. You know, and this is how things get done. When there's an issue that needs to be addressed, we do things like this to get it addressed. So if your school did this, brought it to an MLA, and somehow other schools in Nova Scotia did it, and then all of a sudden you got your province of Nova Scotia looking at it, it could set an example for the rest of the country to do the same. So when I mentioned this morning that it's going to be the students that are going to help make the difference, that are going to make the changes, and I strongly believe that. You know, I believe that, once students get involved in these kind of things, that they'll take it on and they'll try and make a difference, because nobody wants to, see all these people that are waiting die, and if something could get fixed and we have the capacity to fix it, then why not try and fix it? So, Chris probably has a couple of words to say. You're good? You're all tucked up? Good. Did a lot of talking on the road. Yes. So, is there any other questions? I want to introduce Lou too. He's doing the camera. He's behind the scenes kind of guy. Are there any other questions? Thoughts?
What percentage of Canadians are organ donors?
That's a hard question to answer, simply because we don't have any way of indicating that, because there isn't a registry or anything like that. So even though, like today, you might sign your driver's license and discuss it with your family, there's no way of knowing. There was at least a 90% approval rate for organ donations. So through these surveys, people are scratching their heads. If it's so high, then why are we the lowest? Again, it probably results to an administrative problem. Their wishes aren't getting acknowledged because of the system isn't allowing their wishes to get acknowledged. So maybe that's really what needs to get fixed. Awareness is always going to be a key, but fixing the system can help, make it better and more effective for everyone. So now, did you know that you can also become a life donor? Yeah, you can. You can actually donate a piece of your liver, and what they do, this might sound a little yucky, I don't know, but it's being done all the time. If somebody wanted to become a life donor, family usually happens in family situations where they get tested and everything, and then if they're compatible, the family member can donate a piece of their liver. They cut off a piece, and then they transplant it into the donee. And then the person that donated the liver, the entire liver grows back in 2 weeks, and the person that received the liver grows back in 6 weeks. So, and the person that gave the liver is back to work in like 2 months, and the person that received it is usually back to work after 6 months. So that's one way, is a live donor. Another way is donating, because we all have 2 kidneys, and you can live perfectly fine and healthy with 1 kidney. So again, you become a live kidney donor, and it usually happens within the family. And then the third way is you can actually donate a piece of your lung to somebody as well, and go through life unaffected. So these things usually occur during family situations, or sometimes very close friends. But there's a new phenomenon happening in Canada, which is called the stranger donor. People are starting to step up, wanting to become live donors to someone anonymously that they don't even know. And it's happening more in Canada as we speak. There's been a few cases already in Ontario and BC. And so that's another area that the shortage could be addressed. And so and we also have to look at being on the cutting edge when it comes to organ donations as well. I mean, if we had our system perfectly fixed, we had more live donors, we would still need to perform other things that these other countries are doing, like non-heart beating donations.
presently, Canada is been performing only brain dead, and I'll explain that. When you pass away, the only time in Canada that you can donate your organ is when you're brain dead. Your heart has to keep beating. Now, in Canada, that was medically and ethically not doable to do it if the heart stopped. Now, they've been practicing non-heart beating donations in Europe for years very successfully, and Canada finally accepted the procedure and did their first one last year. And since then, they've done maybe about 20 very successfully. But in order to reach the potential of organs that are available, we need to perform this at every hospital right across Canada, because there's about at least a 25% increase that could happen if we're performing non-heart beating donations right across the country. So it's another area, again, that we need to get more our government involved in and the hospitals, so that more organs could be available. So if we tackled all these different issues that I talked about, we as a country in Canada have the potential of saving everybody on that waiting list, and that's got to be a goal that we should shoot for. Because it's a reachable goal, and we all should be shooting for that goal. Plus, they say in 20 years, almost every major surgery is going to be transplant related because it's been so successful. There's a 98% success rate when somebody receives transplanted organs and tissues. So at one time they needed 20 doctors to perform these things. Now they just need 3 doctors, and it's performed in like 4 hours. You're out of the hospital in 5 days, and so it's become very normal procedure to do these things. And so the problem is donations. How do we fix that part of it? So we have the available medical cure. How do we fix the donations? And this is why we're hoping to spark your school and every community that we go through in the next 9 months, so that we can get, students, classrooms, or the entire school involved in this. It's a very noble project, and as you witnessed yourself, it can happen to anybody, and it's something we all should be shooting for.
Issue and getting the youth. So you guys, you're all old enough to vote, right? Most, well, you will be by the next election. Would that be an issue that you would vote for? Would that be something that would interest you to go to the polls for? I think there's your voter apathy tactic for Nova Scotia, is to get people interested in voting and start addressing a lot of these social issues.
Well, and the other thing we're hoping to do is we're having very memorable stops, and so what we're hoping to do is to maybe at the end of the year or at some point bring everybody together at one place, and show again the power of 150 different communities coming together, all in one place.
A provincial rally.
And a provincial rally as well, because the enthusiasm in Nova Scotia so far has been great. It can happen to anybody, and it's something we all should be shooting for. Any other questions?
How effective is a live donation, like in terms of long-term prognosis? When you're putting a portion, does that suffice? Will it do the job of a full liver?
And actually, that's another good question. They performed the first one in 2000, and first-line liver donor. And since then, they have found no casualties. So they take great care when they're performing these things, because in order to become a candidate and a match, there's rigorous guidelines that you have to go through. So because of that,
they haven't had, it's been a complete success.
I just mean for the recipients.
For
Does
the
that portion of the liver suffice, or is it only a stopgap until a full liver is available?
No, it's the same as receiving a cadaver organ, actually.
Really?
Yeah, you have the same benefits, the same success in living a full, productive life. There's many recipients that have received live livers that testify to that and have testified to that.
So then you're completely removed from the donor list, then, so to speak.
That's right, that's correct. That's why usually when somebody does need a liver, they're on the waiting list, they usually first find out if they could become a candidate for a live liver, and then they search the family members to see if there's anybody from the family that's willing to donate and become a compatible donor. So, and there's, as I mentioned, there's been cases where strangers have stepped up.
So the 98% success rate is not, it's more feasible nowadays.
Yes. Yeah, it's just so amazing what they've done, and it's since they've developed the anti-rejection drugs, which work perfectly, and all the surgery procedures have been updated. Where, once upon a time they didn't. Infections usually occurred at, but now these things are non-existent.
I'm surprised to see so few live donors, because I think that would be the hot ticket. That's a solvable issue.
Yeah,
it's not life-threatening.
Exactly.
And high success.
Yeah. Well, what we did in Ontario was we tried to pass a law where the donors, or the people, strangers that were willing to donate, could get compensated, not in terms of getting paid for doing it, but to compensate the expenses. Because what was happening, we had a lot of people that were stepping up to the plate to do it, but then they found out that there was like $6,000 of expenses incurred. Travel, travel, loss of work, accommodation, it all added up to about $6,000. So they passed a law in Ontario where if a stranger donor does step up to the plate to do that, they'll get compensated for the expenses. And then that's been encouraging more people to do it. And so...
A real slap in the face to get a $6,000 bill for being a good Samaritan.
It was crazy because, and we witnessed a lot of people, because when Kristopher was walking, a lot of people wanted to donate their liver to Kristopher. That's where we knew there was a lot of people out there that would do these things. But when they tried, when they found out that there was $6,000 of expenses, then exactly.
Well, you didn't have a corporate sponsor that would, or maybe tax rebates for the government to, as a way to connect to the government in terms of rewarding or encouraging people would be, not necessarily a tax credit, but maybe an incentive.
They're doing that in some of the states.
Really?
Yeah. So the provinces have the power to implement these things. So that's why more discussion is encouraged. We tried to get this going during our Ontario elections, and it's a big thing because right now they're looking at the opt-out system in Ontario. There's a bill presently in...
I think that's an interesting way of tackling it.
Yeah.
I think that's a very interesting way of doing it.
Yeah. So, who knows? We're hoping each province can have their own way of addressing the issue.
How many of you here right now have signed your, how many of you are allowed to drive that have signed your donor card? Just out of curiosity, if you want to share that. That's encouraging. That's encouraging, because we all hear the horror stories that happen day to day. I think I signed mine when I got my driver's license when I was 17, 10 years ago. And the funny thing, I'm from Toronto, and when we got the license, our instructor, would you like to sign that now? And he was an advocate for this. And that was one of his attitudes, that would you like to sign this now? Because it's convenient, and it just makes sense.
Right.
And we were aware of it way back in the 1970s. And, but anyway, very interesting. I'm glad to see a lot of hands shown there. Any of you not allowed to drive? Okay, good. Just gotta cover your base, right?
Yeah.
Don't look at that. Pardon? I'm curious. You know what? I think it's on the back.
Your health card. Yeah, it's on your health
You
card.
sign, I haven't renewed mine in a while, so I'm still that handsome, but
It's on the front of your health card.
document that you check off.
It's on your health card.
I don't have my lights, I
Yeah,
don't
I
have my wallet. I can't even check. And check, call out, just take a peek at this so you all know if you have or have not, or you think you have or you think you have not. So I got my wallet.
They said
Okay.
I need to put it on my list.
Okay, there we go. Good.
It's kind of bagged up, but.
It's okay. Use and abuse, perfect. There you go. Perfect.
So if the Mariners still have some of your licenses, you might want to get them down.
Yeah, that's Ryan's after.
Yeah, that's it, I think it's too much.
I got one back.
So what do you find? Is there a big response from the students when you come to the schools? Is there, you get a lot of follow-up is what I'm getting at. Because Christopher was here a few years ago, there's still a couple flags, still, oh, sorry about that. I didn't see that when you came in. But do you see it, do you get a lot of feedback? Because when you're here before, you know, there's a lot of, we did the same thing, we went through it and we advocated, but you get a lot of notice back from schools that, hey, this is where we are, this is what we've done, we've encouraged like high 90% everybody signed their donor cards.
Yeah, ever since I did that, I've got a lot of emails and videos every day.
Okay.
Ever since then, I've done a lot of support from all schools. Well, because we're doing this, and we have more support, all the students that be involved. And so far, we've had a few schools and stuff right across there.
What we're hoping to do on our website, SOS4000.com, we're creating our website so that each community that we go into, it'll show who the torch champion was and what we did in that community, and as well as showing some videos like this one over here. And what we're trying to do is get that website and promote the website so that the whole country could be looking at the website and see how collectively 150 schools from coast to coast are coming together on this. And I think that'll have a really powerful effect on the entire nation. Witnessing something like this, because it's never been done before.
Because you cross paths with Harper at a corner, and you know what I mean, and press that kind of attitude.
We're hoping to meet Peter McKay in Trenton.
Okay.
Yeah, he's scheduled to come.
I think you go right to the politicians and board them. Why not? I think if you have so many positive staff or students, because they're the future voters.
Yeah.
I think that's your game plan. I think that's a very compelling argument.
That's why we're doing what we're doing. That's why we're going to schools. Yeah.
Or we minority. You can do that when it's a minority.
That's right. Well, we think students will find a way to hardship. Government, they're the way.
I think there's a strategy for an election would be the issue and getting the youth. So you guys, you're all old enough to vote, right? Most, well, you will be by the next election. Would that be an issue that you would vote for? Would that be something that would interest you to go to the polls for? I think there's your voter apathy tactic for Nova Scotia, is to get people interested in voting and start addressing a lot of these social issues.
Well, and the other thing we're hoping to do is we're having very memorable stops. And so what we're hoping to do is to maybe at the end of the year or at some point bring everybody together at one place, and show again the power of 150 different communities and coming together all in one place.
A provincial rally.
And a provincial rally as well, because The enthusiasm in Nova Scotia so far has been great.
Good morning. We're here for a special purpose, and in the next few minutes, we should bring awareness to a very special cause. So please pay attention.
Especially, I want to take this moment to dedicate today in tribute to Jeremy Tucker, because in the end, that's what it's all about.
You did a great job.
To be on part of the wall.
No. And I didn't.
That's why we're doing what, you know, these countries.
You can see now the cause that our special guests are promoting.
Words from you as we're finishing the torch run here. How do you feel? Yeah? It just started to rain now, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. You did a great job, and Kristopher here. You guys had good talking and everything?
Oh yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, we're gonna head back towards the school now again. Okay, I'll get one picture with the policeman.
Yeah.
And then we'll be in.